wait. I'm almost live. Okay, now I'm live. All right, let's do this.
All right, guys. Welcome to the show. Yeah, we got a bunch of stories. Let's start with this one. We did say there was a guy that scammed $1 million using Chuck E. Cheese tokens as bitcoins. Turns out to be a fake story. Didn't actually happen, and it's the website that I got it from,
No, but it's
Hustlers.
not. But it's not. No, Jimmy. It's not a fake story, right? This shit's happening every day, right? There is another shit coin that's worse than a Chuck E. Cheese token every freaking day. I did not want to issue a retraction. I absolutely love that story. It's no different than 99% of all other tokens, except the graphic down there is perfectly correct. You can't even go to Chuck E. Cheese and buy a pizza with all this other crap. You can't even do it with Bitcoin.
Yeah, I guess we all kind of wanted to believe that it was true. I mean, it would have been a really, really funny story. But yeah, I think it was just sort of, people wanting it. Yeah.
This reminds me of there was one particular April Fool's Day. I believe it was like 2016 April Fool's Day. Not this one, but the one before, maybe the 2015 one. I don't remember. But it was April Fool's Day, and I remember like reading like 3 articles, and I totally thought they were like true, real articles. And people are like, no, this is like April Fool's Day pranks. And then later in the day, I read like this one article, and I'm like laughing my ass off. Oh my God, this is the greatest April Fool's Day joke ever. And the people are like, no, that one is real.
Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if you've ever seen this website. Like, is it Al Gore or the Unabomber? And there's like passages from Al Gore's book and from Unabomber's manifesto, and you can't tell. It's like impossible. So like sometimes, life imitates art sometimes. So anyway, all right. So let's go on to this next story. Zero-link massive scale CoinJoin is about to be deployed. Participate in the final test and earn $10. So yeah, this is from NoPara. This is Zero-link. It's a way to more or less like do a massive CoinJoin. Let you basically get privacy through sort of a massive CoinJoin where there's a lot of inputs and a lot of outputs, and no one knows which one of those was your input and which one of those was your output. And this helps with privacy because you can't link the input and the output anymore. So yeah, I mean, this obviously really exciting. There's already 100 users in the CoinJoin, so it's a pretty massive CoinJoin. And there's a $10 reward for getting into it. So yeah, I mean, this looks like a really interesting project. Tone, your thoughts?
Wait, I thought he was looking for 100, or does he already have 100?
I think there's 100. I think they're looking for. Oh wait. Oh, he's looking for 100. You're right.
He's looking for 100. He's looking for 100 in order to deploy it. So he has the double criteria, right? Either 100 users for it to go live on the testnet, or December 20th, which is like tomorrow. Jeez. Or today. I don't even know what day it is.
It's the 19th.
Yeah, guys. I mean, to be honest with you, like, I don't have time to do this, but if you have time, please join this. Try not to collect the $10 if you don't need the $10. The guy is pretty much an open source developer. I've ran across his work. He's written about me before. He's been around for a while. Fairly respected, right, Jimmy?
Yeah, absolutely. And so is Matthew Haywood, who's working on the prototype. So, I mean, good people, those two.
Yeah, I mean, he's written some great stuff during the user-activated soft fork debates. I remember that one article he had about, playing chicken. He had that picture of like the 2 cars from Fast and the Furious with Vin Diesel and what's that British guy? Jason Stanton. Yes, so he's written really good stuff before. I trust this project. I trust his work. So should be good. Let's see if he can get if we can finally get CoinJoin going. And I think he plans to if you go lower in that article, he plans to deploy this onto the mainnet fairly soon. Do you think that's wise?
Yeah, absolutely.
Like right there, why release an unstable version on the main net? It looks like it looks like they want to go like the moment they launch it on testnet and it doesn't totally break. They'll almost immediately launch it on mainnet. What do you think about that, Jim?
I mean, as long as it's a valid transaction, it either works as in an atomic way or not. Like, it's not like they'll just sort of take some of the inputs like disappear or something. It's pretty safe because the way Bitcoin transactions work, the entire thing has to go through or none of it goes through. So either everyone's coins get mixed or nothing happens. And if nothing happened, then they can just try again. That's fine.
So what happens if, like right now, I've already seen a couple of transactions through my wallets get dropped off the network. Like what happens in that case, right? Let's say you send the transaction, it goes through a mixer, but then the fee's too small and the transaction gets dropped. How does that work? Does it affect it in any way?
I don't know if they have a deal with a miner, but that would be ideal. Is if they have some deals with the miners to mix some of their coins maybe with it and then get it mined that way. But yeah, I mean it really depends on how they plan to do it. I imagine that they would have a high enough fee for something like this. This is a service that I think people are willing to pay for, so I wouldn't doubt that.
That's a good point. Just a thought of mine, because I'm pretty sure there's more and more transactions being dropped off the chain. I'm still waiting for a drink to a Chris and a drink for Juan. I mean, these are Bitcoiners, so I paid them for it. They paid for my drinks down in Bogota, and I sent them like $10 in Bitcoin each for the drink. That $10 is now like $13, but it hasn't been confirmed in like almost 10 days. So I'm waiting for them to get dropped off the network so that maybe I can get free drinks out of it.
Tone, you're a scammer. All right.
I know. I can't wait to actually make that public, so that I scam two prominent people in the crypto space.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll come after you. They'll be like, it's not meant to be used for little things of beer anyway. All right, Overstock.com's blockchain subsidiary T0 commences $250 million token sale. Wow, T0 is raising $250 million. They're let's see, they're safe and at a pre-sale period, and then the subsequent sale period. It all ends like February 16th. I guess it began yesterday for institutional investors, something like that. Or accredited investors, I'm not sure. But yeah, Patrick Byrne seems to be going full ICO. Your thoughts, Tone?
Oh man, well, like me talking about T0 being nonsense goes back to like 2014, 15. I don't even know how long. This project doesn't it doesn't make the conceptual sense, forget technological sense. I'm not surprised they're going with a token, because no one is actually going to fund this thing other than Patrick Byrne and Overstock himself. I mean, this is a totally useless token. It's no different than like a Phantom.
But Toad, you could get into the Overstock rewards program for 100 tokens.
Have you ever shopped on Overstock, Jimmy?
Not since they started taking Bitcoin. I think I bought like a sewing machine or something like that, just to test it out. But that was
right.
it.
But I've never used Overstock, not once. It's man, if there is a reward program I need help with, it's how to get like the most out of like airline miles. I like fly everywhere. I have zero status. I'm signed up all over the place. I have no clue how that thing works. I'm like, damn, I fly like 40 times a year. I go to the airport, I look at the leaderboard. It's like 40 people are like, oh, these are the people in line to get upgraded. I'm like,
Tone, I think you make enough money at this point that maybe you should just spring for the business or first class. I don't know, just saying. And there are services that will actually utilize miles and charge you less money for those seats. So maybe we could talk about that after.
I know. I gotta get over my cheapness here. All right, we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Anyway, no, this is totally silly. Like, this token is completely unnecessary. Of course, it's gonna pump because it's overstock and it's Patrick Byrne, and people just want to pump this thing. The project makes no sense. The 3-day settlement rule, which is their biggest, which is their, whale that they're trying to go after. It's a regulatory problem. It's not a technological problem. There is nothing technologically preventing, Wall Street from settling you instantly. They're settling in 3 days, and it's on purpose. It's not by accident. And you don't need a blockchain to solve that problem. You just need, a couple of companies, update their database. There is nothing that needs decentralization here. So the whole project is silly. The token makes no sense. And it's going to pump, but I'm ignoring this thing like I ignore all these other scam coins.
Yeah, I'd be really curious because ICOs have definitely slowed down significantly over the last couple of months. And they're looking for an insane amount of money. 250 million is not easy to raise. And I'm not sure if they'll get it, but I guess we'll be watching. All right, next story is Venezuela's fiat currency is declining rapidly and Bitcoin is taking over. This is a story about how the Venezuelan bolivar is so devalued at this point. People are using it to just burn it, and people are using Bitcoin instead to a large degree. Is this the first case of hyper Bitcoinization, Tone?
Potentially, but people have to realize that, and again, something I've been saying for years, people in Venezuela don't have that much money. So when you say Bitcoin is being used in Venezuela, what does that mean? It's like Zimbabwe. It's like one Bitcoin. I remember when one Bitcoin in Zimbabwe was trading for $12,000 when the value of one Bitcoin was 7,000. But you have to realize there's 3 people in Zimbabwe that can afford a full Bitcoin, right? How many people?
You can buy fractions, though.
That's the point, right? That's the point. How many people in Venezuela can afford an entire Bitcoin? And the answer is probably no one. So it's all in fractions, and it's just micro usage because these are very poor countries. Bitcoin adoption is going to come from Europe. It's going to come from the US. It's going to come from countries with a significant middle class that can say, hey, you know what? I need to put $50,000 into Bitcoin. It's not going to come from countries that say, hey, I need to put $20 into Bitcoin, right? That's and it's not even good for micropayments, right? As we all learned recently, until everyone starts adopting SegWit and Lightning comes. So, it's great that Bitcoin is there helping them. But is Venezuela going to lead the way for Bitcoin adoption? And I just don't think so. I still see that coming from the first world countries with significant money that needs to go into Bitcoin.
Yeah, I'm curious what's going to happen. I would like to see something like Open Dime be used in Venezuela and that instead of these bills, and then people trading those for relatively small amounts, something like that. I'm sure Rodolfo would love that too. But it would be interesting if you can use infinite off-chain scaling solution using something that essentially has Bitcoin on it and can be redeemed. All right, next story is small fintech stock surged 2,600% in a week after announcing it's a crypto company. Longfin is the name of this company, and they've kind of gone crazy over the last week or two. Over how after issuing a press release saying it bought Zidu.com, a blockchain-empowered global micro-lending solutions provider. Never heard of Zidu, but apparently acquiring it made it worth a lot of money. Yeah.
I don't think anyone's heard of it.
Yeah. So what's going on, Tone? You're more into traditional markets.
Yeah, actually, this is our last story, right?
Yes.
All right, let me do my screen share because I want to show something from a presentation that I've started doing lately. Let me see here. Where are we? Here we go. So this is from, I probably should have started from the beginning, but so this is from my presentation called The Inevitable ICO Bubble. I did this presentation down in Bogota and also in Toronto like a few weeks ago. So this has been used in the past. Here's an example from 1999, eDigital Corporation. Let me see if I can zoom in on this here. eDigital Corporation in January 99, the stock was trading at 6 cents. And they basically announced how they're going to start becoming a .com and utilize the latest technology, and their stock popped immediately to $2.91, and then it hit $24.50. All because of a name rebrand. Right? So it went from 6 cents to 24 bucks within a year. And of course, the stock ended up going bankrupt because they didn't have anything. So the SEC is used to this. They've seen it during the .com, just simply hyping up the idea of buzzwords. And something similar happened not that long ago in the crypto space. This is the Securities and Exchange Commission when they announced a suspension of a trading of a company, CIO, CIAO, and they kind of did the same thing. It was a penny stock, and they announced that they're going to get into blockchain and they're going to do an ICO.
All right, Tone, you must have known something, because according to my chat, SEC just halted trading of that exact company.
Oh my God!
apparently,
shit,
apparently it just happened on Twitter, like as we were talking or something like that.
Dude, and I told you this like, before we started the show. I'm like, SEC is gonna hold this fucking company. Oh, I got a curse last. I told you this before we went live. The SEC is gonna shut that shit down.
Yeah, I mean seriously. I mean. Wow, Tone, that's a pretty good call. That's amazing. Anyway, we should check Twitter to make sure, but that's what people are saying in my chat right now.
All right, because look, like it's already happened. I mean, the SEC isn't even new to this. I mean, look, we already have an example from August of this year when another company, here's the stock of that company, they announced, some penny stock announced an ICO, the stock pumps from 0 to like 40 cents, and then the SEC comes in and they're like, nope, you're done trading your actual stock. I mean, they're going to look for insider trading. They're going to go like, okay, who knew about this, these buzzwords, and who traded on that information? I mean, you got to be real careful. Like, it's amazing how companies that are regulated by the SEC in the traditional markets, aren't careful enough with this stuff. So if it is true that
it's apparently on Zero Hedge, so I'm gonna take a look at it in a second. All right, let's see if Zero Hedge has a story. Full list: Bank of America, irrational exuberance, Republican tax plan, etc., etc. Crypto traders spooked, long Bitcoin, global stocks. Where is the crypto company? I don't see it. Maybe. Yeah.
I don't know. I like I said, I don't know. This is one of the reasons why I don't check the chat, because there's a lot of trolls in there. So we don't know if the SEC halted it or not. But I wouldn't be surprised, because they've already done it with similar things in the in this crossover between traditional and this ICO space.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Now, if that company isn't doing an ICO, then they should be fine. Now, the stock of that company is going to go back to default, because like no one heard of this processor. And I mean, there aren't going to be, look, there's not going to be a single company in crypto that's going to process microtransactions. Either we're going to have microtransactions with Lightning or we won't. Like that's the thing. Like these companies like BitPay, they're going to go away sooner or later.
Well, they need to change their business model is what they really need to do.
Yeah.
Instead, they seem to be futzing around with Bitcoin Cash as if that's the main thing.
Right.
I guess we'll see.
But yeah, this is my presentation, basically talking about all of the similarities between, stories of, people back in the dot-com days. This guy sold his company for $100 million. It's just because he hyped it up with a giant billboard in San Francisco. And you were at Consensus. You remember that, right, Jimmy?
Yeah. It's kind of crazy.
I mean, the similarity is just uncanny between the individual companies. But yeah, this is basically, this was my presentation. And this is the main problem with ICOs. Alex Marcos pointed out really, really well that, startups can fail, but you can't walk away rich for failing. And that's exactly what's happening with these ICOs. And here was my own version of it, the difference between ICOs and Bitcoin, because some people still think that Bitcoin was the first ICO, which is just ridiculous. And that's pretty much my my presentation.
Right. Do you want to do price?
Yep, let's do price.
Yeah, I'm gonna check Zero Hedge Twitter. Apparently, that's where the thing is. Let's see, Bank of America SEC statement. Yeah, there it is. Wow, here's the SEC.
Let me pull it up. Hold on, let me go to Zero Hedge.
Yeah, so there's SEC security.
Because I'm on screen share.
Okay, yeah. Let me pull you up. Oh yeah, there it is. Go down a little bit. Go down one more.
Right
the
there,
crypto
right
company. There it is. The SEC
Let's
statement
see.
referring. Yeah. So if you click on that, I think it's the same company. We'll see. The crypto company.
Where's the company name?
Oh, I think it's maybe it's something different.
No, it's a different company.
Yeah, CRCW. Okay, well, pretty close.
Yeah, no, CRCW is different, but it's coming. It's coming. I mean, they don't issue it right away. It's coming though. Trust me. There's gonna be. It's.
Do these people get arrested, Tom? What happens to these people?
No. They just hold their company. They will only get arrested if the SEC can prove that they insider traded on that information. So they would just delist the company for a short amount of time. They'll bring it back. They'll give them a fine, but the SEC doesn't really arrest people. The SEC fines are usually civil, not criminal. Though they'd have to go to like other channels to go to criminal. But no, there has to be like straight up insider trading. Like the company did it on purpose and they profited from that information.
All right, cool. Let's take a look at price.
Like let's say if a C-level manager sold a bunch of shares at the top, they're gonna have a problem with that.
Yeah, makes sense.
All right, so the price is pulling back a little bit. Here's the weekly chart. The weekly chart remains bullish looking in general. It's actually going to be very, very difficult to get the weekly chart to look bearish because we've gone up so far so fast. And you can try to time these things as best you can, but I'm looking at this chart and you basically need a price flip. You need something. I mean, the last weekly candle was very bullish. The current weekly candle is halfway in. I mean, look at this candle, right? I mean, it was horrible. I mean, like we fell from the candle opened at 7,300. It hit a high of 7,800. It hit a low of 55. So, I mean, this was a $2,000 fall, and it did nothing to prevent the long-term trend. So in order to reverse the weekly trend from bullish to bearish, I mean, we either need multiples of similar candles or like we need just a complete fallout. So the weekly chart remains bullish. I mean, if you see bearish signs in the weekly chart, you're pretty much just guessing. You could be right, but like I see nothing in the technicals there. Even the daily chart remains bullish right now. All that's happened is we pulled back to the prior level of the prior all-time high that corresponded with this 9 and a red arrow on the little spike. And we can even go as low as, the tops of these candles. which is in the vicinity of 1650, so 16,500. So we can actually backtest 16,500, and the bullish trend will not be in danger. However, with maybe another $50 lower in price, this number will flip from a green 7 to a red 1. And once you get a price flip, it basically warns a trader that it's time to take that position into cash based on the daily time frame. But keep in mind, the weekly time frame remains bullish. So let's see what happens here. As long as this candle closes above this candle, it'll remain a green 7. The problem happens on the next candle. We would need to go and close at an all-time daily high in order to get us an 8 that leads to a 9. Now, not getting a 9 is not a bad thing, because the way I view these 9s, once you hit a 9, it's time for a pullback. If your 9 actually gets interrupted, like this here, 9 led to a pullback. If your 9 actually gets interrupted, which we haven't had in a long time on these daily candles, if your 9 gets interrupted, it actually could set up for a brand new 9 to the upside. So it's not necessarily a bad thing. So I don't know. I mean, it's 50-50 whether we price flip now or next candle. But getting a 9 now is not likely. But you don't get bearish trade entries until you get red numbers trading below red numbers. And we haven't had that in a while. I actually had that here for a brief second for a trade that would have worked out terribly, but you would have made up for it on the bull side once you flip that trade over to be a bull again. The 4-hour chart called the top very nicely. It literally called the very top with a 9 sell signal. But it's been choppy ever since. And once you get these price flips, you're basically in the middle of nowhere in a cash position. The current 4-hour candle is about to end in 30 minutes, and it has not indicated a short play. So what you're going to be looking for, if you want to prematurely short the daily chart using the 4-hour chart, your short entry is once the next candle starts trading below the current candle. That creates a 4-hour short entry. But keep in mind, you'll still be going against the daily trend slightly and against the weekly trend heavily. The 1-hour has had its fall, and it has had a 9, and now the 9-hour is probably on a reversal back to the moving average. If you were trading these numbers, the short entry on the current swing would have come the moment the red number started trading below the prior red number, which did not happen here, did not happen here, but happened right there. Okay, so if you are actively trading this numerical indicator, the short entry would have come right there. Your profit could have come anywhere if you timed it right. You got out at the moving average. If you didn't time it right, you had another chance to get out at the moving average, or the moment you saw this 9 forming. Most people would have gotten scared on this run up. Right now, most likely outcome is a 1 to 4 hour dead cat bounce into the moving average. And then let's see if the 4 hour starts to turn bearish, and then maybe a countdown to 13. These pluses mean it's a deferred 13 count. But anyway, I'm not going to get into that in this video. So yeah, so this one is showing you some life based on this green arrow right there. And my usual disclaimer, seminars. The seminar in Singapore is on January 14th. If you're interested, please connect with me. Scroll down the bottom of trading seminars for info, and learn trading. This is where you learn more about these indicators and other basic trading tools. I guess I'll send it back off to you, Jimmy.
Well, thanks for the price update. Obviously, a lot of different things going on today, and a lot of things seem to be going on every day. So, anyway, this song is about to finish. Any other final thoughts, Tone?
No, that's it. I mean, I have some people asking about where I am. I'm in Cali, Colombia right now. I will be off to San Andreas, Colombia, and then I will be off to Medellin for New Year's and like the first week of January. So people are asking me if I'm going to be in Medellin, and I will be later this in a couple of weeks.
All right. Well, thank you, Tone. I have to go back to writing my book. So this song is done.